welcome to this week's Real Estate Producer Show. I'm here with Chris Mayer and Alexandria and Nicole.
Hello.
Welcome, you guys.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, of course. We're so happy to have you. So we're just going to get right to it. And I want to know, tell me what you love about all things real estate and what you love being like.
Sure.
What you love about being a realtor.
Yeah, great question. On top of everything, it's the joy that people feel when they get into a home, especially a first-time home buyer. Always my favorite to work with. One of those people that kind of absorb the energy of others, and that joy is irreplaceable. So the more you fill up with your day, I think the better it is.
I like it. Absorb the energy of others. That's definitely the exciting thing about being a first-time homeowner and working with them. There's definitely a lot of energy and excitement there too.
Yeah.
A question, Chris.
Sure.
So homes stayed on the market in August a little bit longer than they have in the spring, actually probably in the last 9 or 10 months.
Yeah.
Do you see it? Have you noticed the change? Have your buyers noticed the change? Are they getting back out there again?
Yeah, absolutely. So July 1st is when we started to see the curve, the pendulum start to swing back up. We started at that point putting more homes on the market than we were selling. And prior to that, about 8 or 10 months was the absolute opposite of that. So we've seen record price drops this past month. They are sitting longer. There's still hot pockets. There's still, demand. Homes that are updated is the one everybody wants, popular price points. They're still selling quick, but they are sitting a little bit longer. Some of the pressure is coming off the buyers for sure. Are
you still writing creative offers? Is it still necessary?
Yes, we're not as many of the bells and whistles. Some of the bells and whistles, they're not as aggressive as they used to be. Some maybe not a whole appraisal waiver, maybe a $5,000 or $10,000. There's so many scenarios. So a lot of the parts still, but just a little bit less aggressive than we had been.
Good.
Very good.
I'm going to piggyback off. I'm going to try that again. I'm going to piggyback off of Nicole. Have you started seeing prices stabilizing?
Yes, I would say stable is probably an accurate word. What we see is some of the ones that we're seeing the price drops on are just kind of over aggressive sellers, or that where they think this is still ramping up like it was in April, May, June. We can back up to March, actually. So there's where we're seeing the price drops, is when they're taking the next step without the market. So when you take the next step without the market, that's when you need to bring your price back down to the market.
So tell me a little bit about the conversations that you're having with your clients and about how today's interest rates and them being so low is actually adding like a ton of value for them.
Sure.
How's that conversation going for you and your clients?
Sure. Yeah, of course, depending on what side we're on, the buy side or the sell side. The sell side of the conversation is that it's going to help us get stronger offers. Rates are low. The buy side is you're going to be saving. Sometimes it's hard for people to understand if there's a house that's asking $400, why we have to write at $420.
Okay.
And when we can kind of counter that with, listen, we're at 3%, you might pay a touch more right now, but that's for the next 30 years. So even though it might cost you $5,000 or $10,000 extra dollars now, it's going to save you $50,000, $60,000, $70,000 over the life of that loan.
Right. Yeah, absolutely.
Are you noticing that new construction loans are really ramping up right now?
Yes, to an extent. Some of the tough part of the new construction is just the cost of lumber. So we took a little bit of a lull there. Some of the hot cities are running out of land a little bit, to be frank. So as we start to get to some of the outskirts of the popular areas, we do see some of the new construction. But it would really kind of depend on, if the land is available, would really be the biggest thing that we're seeing with that. We're just kind of running out of land in the hottest areas where people want to be.
What cities specifically would you say are running out of land in the Metro Detroit area?
Sure. No, great question. A lot of calls we get for Troy. A lot of people want to be in Troy. Rochester Hills also. Rochester, as you get a little more north, a little more west, you'll see some of that. Troy's getting really tough. We still get a lot of calls for people that want to build in Troy. And they are. They're certainly still building there. It's not like there's none. But the selection is just getting tighter and tighter, which puts a little pressure on the price point as well.
Yeah. And for a more positive twist, which ones are you seeing kind of up and coming?
Sure. No, great question. A lot, North Macomb, of course, east side of Macomb, we're getting a lot over there, all the way up North Avenue, a whole build out that's been going on for years.
Yeah.
Independence Township is getting very popular. Oakland Township, kind of more of the northern ends of the counties.
Yeah, nice.
And you're at Keller Williams Lakeside, which is on the east side. What areas do you consider to be a specialist in? Is it just the east side?
Sure. Me personally, we work a big area, of course. The areas that I focus on and I think I'm more of an expert in would be mostly Macomb, Oakland County, 696 and north. I grew up, I lived in East Detroit as a kid, and then I went to Washington Township, went to Romeo High School. So, this is my stomping grounds. I've been here for, I'll hate to say it, but 45 years now. So, everywhere feels like home, everywhere from the lake probably over to maybe a little past Telegraph.
You're a baby.
Thank you. I appreciate
And I'm
that.
sure that brings a lot of personal touch and appreciation to your clients as well, being that you,
Sure.
you have your specialties in a couple areas, but being like you said, you do it all, which is really nice.
Yeah, it helps when you just have, anybody can look at a map, can look at prices of homes, but when you have the feel for neighborhoods that you can share with people, this is more of a vibe here. I help a lot of people that come from out of state. So, especially when they're coming from out of state, Chris, should I go to Farmington or should I go to Royal Oak? Well, if I was just to pull up pricing, I might send you to Farmington. But when I get to know you a little bit better and your, demographic, and they're much different feels. So
Yeah.
to somebody, we're going to place them in the place that we think would be a little more fitting
that's
for them.
huge.
Yeah, in Royal Oak, they're still knocking down houses and still
Yes.
building. It's still big. How about on the east side as well?
Yeah, we're seeing it everywhere, really. We're kind of at a point, a lot of homes were built, after World War II, a lot of in the mid 50s, 60s. A lot of those houses, they're 70, 80, 90 years old we're getting to. So a lot of them, it's just time to take them down. The cost to repair them, it starts to just not make sense anymore. You can't make sense of the numbers, and now you're just selling it for the lot, really. You're going to tear it down, you're going to rebuild. And you're still seeing extremely strong prices for that.
And now, kind of to wrap up the show here, so the U.S. Supreme Court stated that they were not going to extend the eviction notices. So with that being said, can we expect more foreclosed homes, and what does that mean to you and your clients then?
Sure. No, that's a great question. And that's the question of the day, really. We are curious of what exactly are we going to see? Are we going to see an influx of homes coming on the market where now these landlords can get the tenants out and they can put them on the market? They just passed that. I believe that was a week and a half ago when that ruling came out. And I think early September, October, we're going to start to get a feel real quick on what direction that's going to bring us.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, thank you so much for coming
I
today. We're
appreciate
so
it.
happy
Thank
that
you for
we were
having
able
me.
to pick your brain a little bit.
You guys are awesome.
And as always, like and subscribe to the Real Estate Producer Show.